Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Me, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. Currently in the One Piece manga, there are several important and interesting events happening, and a great battle is coming, as well as new allies about to emerge. So in today's video, we're going to talk about our expectations for the upcoming chapter of 1072, what events could happen now that Kizaru is on his way to Egghead Island, and who this mysterious ally that Vegapunk has asked for help might be. But before we dive into the video, if you're new to the channel, or even if you've watched a bunch of our videos, we'd be absolutely honored if you'd leave us a like, and even subscribe, and maybe leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out, especially with that old YouTube algorithm, and it motivates us to make more content. And if you'd like to help out the channel in a bigger way, consider sharing this video or another one of your favorites with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So my friends, currently the Straw Hats are in some pretty huge danger on Egghead Island because they've decided to help Vegapunk escape. And this has made them targets not only of CP0, but the Navy, which is causing the beginning of this great confrontation that we've been expecting in this final saga. Admiral Kizaru is likely to arrive at Egghead Island at the end of this next chapter, or just at the beginning of chapter 1073, because Stussy asked Lucci if he was going to wait for the Marines to arrive to support them, but Lucci seems to really just want to fight Luffy again. So in this next chapter of 1072, we expect that we're going to see a bit more of a fight between Luffy and Lucci, with the CP0 agent losing again due to the incredible power that Luffy has in his Gear 5th transformation. In addition to the fact of how much more advanced his haki is, this Luffy versus Lucci showdown is going to happen again just so Kizaru can have a triumphant entrance. Because we can see that just when Luffy is about to defeat Lucci again, or when Lucci has already been defeated and Luffy is hopeful of his victory, Kizaru is going to show up to confront him. This will make for an incredible entrance for Kizaru, taking away all the hopes that it's going to be an easy escape, which is going to cause a much bigger fight between Luffy and Kizaru, while the other Straw Hats and Vegapunk's secret ally take care of the weaker Marines, the CP0 agents, and the Seraphim that all still pose a huge threat to all the lives of Vegapunk. As we saw in earlier chapters, the Punks are probably not capable of protecting Vegapunk's life against the CP0 agents. I mean, Lucci was able to destroy part of Atlas's face with just one strike, demonstrating that Kaku and even Stussy might be able to destroy the Punks as they possess a level of strength and abilities similar to that of Lucci's. So it's going to be necessary for the Straw Hats to help face the CP0 agents and the Marines so that Vegapunk can figure out a way to escape the island. Something that's going to be quite difficult since the island is going to be taken over and surrounded by Marines that will prevent Vegapunk from ever escaping. Now, although everything seems to be totally unfavorable for the Straw Hats, Vegapunk said that there's a mysterious person that'll help him face CP0, and they're very important, being an extremely necessary ally in this moment. However, Vegapunk also said that if this person helps them, they're not going to be able to remain on Egghead Island, and will become a fugitive from the world government and the Navy. And we don't know exactly what this phrase might mean. We don't know if this person is somebody who doesn't have a bounty on their head and just secretly helps Vegapunk, or if this person is a part of the world government, which would make sense to become persecuted by the very organization that they acted as a double agent within. Now, there are several characters I could name as a possible suspect, but one of the characters that is looking really likely as a double agent is Stussy, one of the CP0 agents and also one of the people who runs the criminal underworld. Now, this idea might seem a little crazy because she's on the island to take Vegapunk's life, and she's also in one of the highest positions within Cypher Pole 0. However, let's take a look at some information that Oda gave us throughout the work of One Piece that indicates that this idea might in fact be real. Information which may even have been left by Oda so that we can understand the reasons that led Stussy to unite with Vegapunk for a common goal. Let's begin with the first appearance of these characters, being during the party that Big Mom had on Whole Cake Island. Big Mom invited people with great worldwide influence, including Stussy, who is very famous in the underworld and even worldwide. During the events of this arc, we saw that Stussy and Defeld had some connection which had not previously been revealed, because after Stussy hits Defeld in the back with a finger bullet, injuring him and causing him to lose the box that it was in his hands. After doing that, Stussy apologized to Defeld and immediately afterwards calls him an old friend, proving that they both knew each other quite a long time ago, but we don't know the exact date. Recently in a cover story, we discovered that Defeld was the one responsible for sponsoring and backing financially the organization of scientists called MADS, having as members only scientists which had become recognized worldwide for their fantastic creations and inventions. This group had Vegapunk as a leader, and then followed Queen, Judge, Caesar, and another figure with their back turned towards the rear of the image, where all the scientists are. But the silhouette is strikingly similar to Stussy's, which means that in addition to being a CP0 agent and an Empress of the Underworld, Stussy was also a great mad scientist, working alongside Vegapunk, explaining why she can fire projectiles from her finger without having any visible weapons or even possessing a devil fruit. Another point that supports this possibility is that when Stussy arrived on Egghead Island with the rest of the CP0 agents, she said that she had great memories in that place. She also happened to know where all the traps were. And as was said by Vegapunk earlier, this person who is their ally couldn't stay on the island any longer if they helped him. This demonstrates that Stussy may indeed be the character who would end up helping Vegapunk, because Stussy could have previously lived on Egghead while starting her plan to be an Empress of the Underworld, as well as an agent of Cyberpol, working alongside with Vegapunk for some common goal. And not only that, Stussy didn't tell Kaku or any of the other agents where the traps were on Egghead Island, causing Kaku to activate some of them and causing him to take damage from these traps. This demonstrates that Stussy was acting in more of a neutral manner during the mission, possibly awaiting Vegapunk's call for help. Because the moment Vegapunk activates and calls this mysterious person into action, she might have said that she was waiting for the scientist's call. And as we can see, there's a great possibility that Stussy is Vegapunk's ally, and possibly may even be responsible for delaying the CP0 agents from arriving. We saw that as Lucci and Kaku engaged the Straw Hats in combat, Stussy just sat back and watched, which might mean that she has some other intention in mind. It was also said that the ally was on the island, and if they are asked for their help, they would be in the world government's sights as well, something that also fits very well with the situation that Stussy is currently in. Also, because she belonged to Mads, Stussy is already considered a criminal just like Vegapunk, Caesar, Queen, and Judge. It was this criminal reason that Vegapunk was even arrested in the past, but because he allied himself and decided to work for the world government, he was released and kept on a rather short leash. Going back to the image of Mads on the cover story, the mysterious figure with her back turned may symbolize that her identity was not yet revealed to the world government, which makes this scientist a mystery to everyone around the world, increasing the possibility for Stussy to be a spy who infiltrated CP0 and even in the criminal underworld to obtain important information or resources for Vegapunk and his research. Now, although this information is the most complete possibility we can think of at the moment, there are also still several other characters that could be this mysterious ally of Vegapunk. What remains for us is to wait for the next chapters to finally find out who this mysterious character is. But now, let's switch gears and talk about Bartholomew Kuma, the character who is making all One Piece fans completely outraged and completely confused by his actions that have been taking place in the manga. It looks as though Kuma is returning and going back to the world government after his revolutionaries almost lost their lives trying to save him from the very world government. However, Vegapunk might know why Kuma is heading back to the world government, because as Bonnie was heading after him and chasing him down and with the intention of hurting him, Bonnie asked Vegapunk to heal her father and make him human again. But Vegapunk replied that he couldn't do it, but there's a reason why he turned Kuma into a full robot. So far, we have no clue exactly why that happened. So for now, we're gonna have to wait for these next couple chapters to better understand what Kuma's new goal might be and why Vegapunk can no longer turn him back into a human. Finally, let's talk about the conflict that's gonna happen on Full-Lead Island between Garp and Teach. Currently, Garp is going to the Pirate Island to rescue Kobe, who was previously captured by Teach during his confrontation on Kuja Island trying to steal the powers of Boa Hancock. Now, Teach is currently facing against Law's crew on an island very close to Egghead, but Garp and Teach's battle is unlikely to take place in the midst of Law's confrontation against Teach. As far as we know, Pudding is the only captive on Teach's boat, so it's likely that Kobe was taken back to Full-Lead, so it wouldn't make sense for Garp to be fighting without Kobe being where Garp could save him. So it's likely that Garp is going to show up right at the end of Law and Teach conflict, and then going right after him back to Full-Lead, where Kobe might be trapped, just waiting for someone to save him from Teach's hands. This could even be foreshadowing that Law might be losing the confrontation against Teach. So the road poneglyph information that Law managed to obtain in Wano is now going to be in Teach's hands. And what's more, Law might have even been captured for some purpose after his defeat. But the battle of Garp and Teach would be an amazing confrontation that could end up resulting in Garp losing his life, sacrificing himself to get Kobe to safety, causing several events to be triggered because of this loss, and giving Luffy even greater reason to go after Teach in search of revenge. But with all that said, my friends, we'd now love to know what you think about it. Do you think Stussy is that hidden ally of Vegapunk's, or perhaps somebody else is on the island? I mean, there's been a lot of different discussion around the community about perhaps somebody left over from Roger's crew, or a different lurking legend. Do you think it's Stussy or somebody else? Next, what do you think the outcome of Teach's confrontation with Law is going to be? And could Law end up in Teach's hands as a captive? And finally, what do you think will happen once Garp arrives on the scene? Do you think Teach will just get away, or is Garp Garp not gonna let him escape and then perhaps just sacrifice himself so that Kobe can go free? Let us know what you think about all that in the comments below. So as we wrap up today's video, we'd like to thank you so much for watching our video, especially those of you who've stayed with us here to the very end. Be sure you comment on any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, give us a like and hit that red subscribe button before you head out to take on the rest of your day. I hope to see you all in our next video. Let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.